Hi. Oh, I've met you before.
Yes, I can't believe you remember.
I remember you.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good. It's so good to have you guys back. I absolutely loved season 2.
Yay.
I think I've only stopped crying now. I binge watched all 6 episodes yesterday.
Really?
I was nervous about it though, thinking it couldn't live up to it. It did, by the way. But how did you guys feel when Ricky said, "Do you know what? We're doing a season 2." What was your initial reaction?
Do you want to go, Mandeep? Sorry.
Yeah, I thought great. I just thought, I hope the dog doesn't die. And who knows with Ricky, I think you never kind of know what's going to happen until you're on set doing it.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
I have to, when like season 1 sort of was such a good journey, you know what I mean? It was like everything was sort of concluded really well.
Yeah.
I felt like, Christ, he's going to have to do well to kind of take the story further. It's like it felt quite, obviously not being the writer, I don't know why I found it daunting for him. I was like, Christ, that's, you've done a complete journey. Do you know what I mean? He left it open a little bit, but I thought it was going to be a hard mountain to climb, the second series, and fair play to him when he did it. But I didn't know how he was going to do it, so I was sort of like, Christ, good luck with that.
Well, see, he did do it, and I thought, okay, is he going to touch on the exact same things again? And he sort of did, in that, it is all about love and being kind to each other, but there were so many other issues that were raised about our society, and there's one line that you deliver, Joe, that is both heartbreaking and also heartwarming. You actually say to Roxy, at least you don't ignore me. Most people do. And it broke my heart. But as I said, I was also warmed, and I was thinking, in today's society, we have such tragic things happening right now. But if we can take a silver lining from it, are we starting to not ignore people anymore? Do you think we're changing and seeing people and appreciating people for who they are?
I think that sort of stuff's coming up more. Or maybe it's just me with my age and stuff, kind of thinking about those sort of things, and just that people being invisible is something that you kind of go, God, it's true. We all don't see. We've all had that parts in our lives where we felt invisible, and when when he picked up on that, I was like, Christ, because it was a tricky thing to do, because the truth is that character came in as a sort of sketch to begin with, and then Roxy's character being a prostitute's a really tricky thing to balance that story and make it something that people will care about. He did it really well. He took so that their stories they really leaped forward from series 1 to series 2, and that's what he does well. He talks about those things that we don't realize we care so much about.
And Mandeep, with your character, she's turning 30 and she's not feeling great about it, and Tony says to her, how do you feel? And she says, I feel a bit 30. And his response is, I hated 30, I loved 40. 50 was all right, but it's not about your age, is it? It's about what's happening in your life right now. Do you think we put too much pressure on age and we don't actually think about experience and appreciate it?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to be 30 at the end of this year. And I feel like, luckily I'm not this way, but I've got a lot of people that I know that are, and they put so much pressure on it. Yeah, it's a lot. Age is a lot, and it is literally just a number. And I feel like as long as you're doing okay, that's kind of all that matters, especially during this time. It really proves that.
Do you think people think they have expectations on what they should have, where they should be at that age? Do you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I did sort of resonate with those lines with, like, I struggled with 30. I didn't struggle with 40, weirdly. And I think maybe at that age, at 30 particularly, you do, God, I think sort of 29 is still very young, and maybe you kind of you're more caught up in where you should be and what you should have done and what you should have achieved, and maybe when you get older, you slowly realise it's not about that, maybe. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing, yeah. I feel like there's so much growing up. When you're younger, when you're in your teenager years, you think, 30's like, oh my God, I'll have it all by then. And when you get there and you're like, I'm still on the journey. But then I feel like we're always going to be on the journey until it's over, you know?
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at that. It's a journey, isn't it? It's like,
and I think it's also about appreciating that everyone is valued, doesn't matter what age. And I think that's what Afterlife does so well. I mean, Tony's relationship with Anne gets me all the time. And I think we need to place value on our older people in our society as well. They have so much more to give.
They are so wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about wise, I use it for this series. It is so smart, so clever. And I was talking to Tony and Joe before, and I said to them, this series, I think not changed my outlook on life, but actually just cemented some of the ways I think about life and what I find important. But you get to work directly on this series. So when you walk away from a gem like this, what life lessons do you take with you?
Sorry, go on, man.
That's a good question, isn't it?
Well, I'm sort of repeating myself, I know, but I think it's those things that are there. You just don't. They just bring them forward in your mind. Do you know what I mean? The importance of stuff that you sometimes let slide. I think that's what I think Ricky does really well. Is like it's there, but you just you get buried in work and like what we're talking about, expectation, and then you don't sort of go, oh, actually, what's important isn't. It gets buried by other things, and I think
life takes over, doesn't it? You kind of shelf stuff.
Yeah, and then you sort of go, actually, what is important is, my relationships and my family, and you kind of, I'll be honest with you, what's happening at the moment is, I'm talking to my, I've got a great relationship with my mum and dad, but it's brought that relationship to the front of my mind, and I'm talking to them a lot more than I would usually, because their value has been put to the front of my mind again. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm scared that, they might get ill and blah, blah. So you go, it's always there.
Yeah.
But like with Ricky's stuff, you go, oh yeah, I do. That is my fear. That is what I fear. That is what I want. That is what I desire. And that's what I forget to do. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, that's what he does really well. It's all in us. It's just sometimes we forget.
Yeah. What about you, Mandeep? What's something that you'll take from this series?
That it's great to have hope, and that although we go through dark times, there's always light that comes out of that.
Yeah,
there's always a blessing, no matter what. Like I always find, especially in my own life, whenever I've gone through anything that's been struggling or hard or whatever, there's always a massive blessing. When I look back, I'm like, oh, that happened, for that to happen, for that to happen. So it's kind of always, if through tears you can also know that you're healing in a way, then that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's funny, I said this to Ricky at the end of last series. I said, I really hope that this isn't it, but if it is, thank you, because I really appreciate it. How do you feel about season 2? Do you want there to be more, or would you be happy if it ended the way it's ended?
I think with anything, the truth is, I would like there to be more, because I've enjoyed the process, and I totally get you saying. You go, you can't sort of go, oh, knickers, because you go, oh, you've been part of something that's been amazing.
Yeah.
So you can't. I guess you can't really lose it, where because you go, well, if it did end, if Ricky decided that that's where he wanted it to end, I'd be like, oh, fair enough. That's you had
fun.
Yeah, and you've been part of something amazing. But if it carried on, I'd be like, yeah, I get to do it again.
Yeah. And you're the same, Mandeep?
I feel the same. Yeah, I feel like it's like a little gift. Each series is a gift, and if we get to do it again, then great. But if not, at least we've got 2 gifts.
Yeah. Do you know what? I get emotional hearing you say that, because I feel like you guys have given us a gift as well. It's something we need right now, and it's also a conversation that we all need to be having, and it's done in such an entertaining way. So guys, thank you so much. If we don't get to do it again, I'll just keep rewatching, but here's to you guys doing it again.
Thank you so much.
Very nice of you to say.
So lovely to talk to you. And thank you for letting us into your homes as well.
Oh, welcome. Mandeep looks a lot more interesting than mine, doesn't it?
Well, I like your year planner, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
2020.
Yeah, it's nothing on it.
I was going to say, is it looking quite empty at the moment?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very good.
Well, guys, stay safe. Lovely to chat to you. Hopefully we get to do it again.
Yeah,
You
hope
too.
so.
Have a lovely day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.